Hello, this is Steven Nojiri, and this is another Tada Genji tradition video. In this Samurai Traditions of the Tada Genji video, we're going to take a look at Oboshiden. In the previous video, I discussed the concept of natural time and self-contained time. And if you haven't watched the previous video, it is kind of important to watch that for this video. But moving on, in this video, we're going to talk about the direction of Hagun. Now, what is Hagun? Specifically, it's this star. If you see on your screen, you'll see the Big Dipper constellation and the red arrow pointing to that final star on the end. That is Hagun. You want to fight away from the direction of Hagun. So essentially, if you fight towards Hagun, you lose. You want to not fight towards Hagun. You want, in the best case scenario, you want your enemies to fight towards that direction. But of course, we're talking about the direction of a particular star. Now that will probably strike many of the viewers as kind of confusing. What do you mean the direction of a star? How do you even know the direction of the star? And that is the entire purpose of this particular Oboshiden calculation. So as I assume all the viewers know, the star position in the night sky changes. There's a constant precession, things are moving. During the day when we don't see the stars, they're still moving. So the idea of the direction of Hagun isn't just at night, but it's during the day as well. And it's irrelevant whether or not the person knows why the stars move, whether they believe it is the sky and the stars themselves moving, or whether they know that it's the earth spinning. It doesn't matter. The stars move for whatever reason, so much during the night, so much during the day, and over the months, more and more, etc., etc., etc. So again, it doesn't matter that if the medieval samurai believed that it was the stars themselves moving, or whether anybody knew the planet was moving. That's irrelevant. Point is, they move, and they move predictably. So regardless of why they move or how they move, and the movement is predictable, and it is this predictability of the movement that is the essence of the Oboshiden calculation. So there is an equation, a basic pattern for this star. So first off, you need to know the correct lunar month, and you need the correct hour. Now you see correct, I have a little star next to it. And this is based on natural time, not self-contained time. That's why I said it's very important that you watched the preceding video to understand the difference between natural time versus self-contained time. In essence, you need to know. You do not rely on your watch, but you need to have used the methods discussed in the previous video to get to the actual correct hour. Once you have the lunar month and the correct hour, then there's just a simple pattern. In the first month, use the 5th position. In the second month, the 6th position. The third month, the 7th position. Essentially, whatever number the month, just add 4 for the position. So for example, but in the 9th month, when you add 9 and 4, you get 13. There's only 12 positions, so you reset to 1. So 9 resets to 1. So 9th month is the 1 position. 10th month is 2nd position. Also, it is key to remember that the starting position counts as 1, not as 0. This will make sense once I show you how to actually do this. But before we get into that, you may be asking, wait, you're talking about months and positions, so I got the month, and then you said it's this many positions, but then you also said I need the hour. How does that figure in? Well, yeah, and this is where that figures in. The month will determine the positions, or the amount of spaces that will move. But we begin at the direction of the hour. And this is why the natural time, this is why it's important to have the correct hour, because that's our actual starting point. You start on the hour position. So is the hour of the rat, you start on the direction of the rat. If it's the hour of the horse, you start on the direction of the horse. Hour of the tiger, start on the direction of the tiger. So the hour is your starting point, and the month gives you the spaces you move. And again, you must have the correct natural time because your starting position depends on it. So on your screen, you're seeing a very basic, now this is, and I apologize because my ability to create art in Microsoft Paint is terrible. But ideally what you're looking at here is a war fan. So you're looking at that is the red is the tassels hanging off the end, that rectangle is the stick that you're holding, and then that four-sided shape is supposed to be the fan. Again, I apologize, it's very poor, but this is supposed to symbolize, this is supposed to be the war fan. And on one side of the war fan, you will have your astrological chart. Now, you'll note, so within this context, we have the green pointing to true actual north. Again, the preceding video discusses the difference between magnetic north and actual north, etc. So we're looking for true actual north, and you want to align your direction of the rat to actual north, which will then align your direction of horse to true actual south. Once you are aligned like this, then with the war fan positioned correctly, those are the directions. All right, and now this is going to be the basic picture, and we're going to do all the calculations on this picture. But for the purposes of clarity, we'll continue to leave the green arrow for the actual north and the yellow arrow for actual south. So imagine you're holding this fan, you've positioned yourself correctly, and now we'll do the calculations. So remember, the hour gives you the starting direction, the month gives you the positions. So, positioned correctly, we're going to say we're doing a calculation for the hour of the rat. So, hour of the rat means we start at the direction of the rat. So, the starting direction, the hour is north, and this is the first month, which means we have 5 positions. And remember what I said earlier, the starting position is counted as 1. So then rat is the first count. The second count is ox, third is tiger, fourth is rabbit, fifth and final is dragon. Therefore, in the first month, at the hour of the rat, Hagun is in the direction of the dragon. Does that make sense? Let's stick with the hour of the rat, but let's change the month. So now we're at the hour of the rat, which means we're starting at the position of the rat north, but it's the 3rd lunar month, which would mean 7 positions. So rat is 1, ox is 2, tiger is 3, rabbit is 4, dragon is 5, snake is 6, horse is 7. Therefore, in the 3rd lunar month, at the hour of the rat, Hagun is in the direction of the horse, which is south. Does that make sense? Let's do this again. Keeping with the hour of the rat, but in the 8th month. So in the 8th month, we're 12 positions. The hour of the rat, north, direction is the starting point. And when we count 12, starting with rat as 1, we get rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, and we count 12, we end up at boar. So in the 8th month, at the hour of the rat, Hagun is in the direction of the boar. Does that make sense? Remember, it's the month. The month gives you the number of positions, and the hour gives you your starting point. And you have to count the starting point as the first position. Now let's look at something kind of fun. Remember when I said that the pattern resets during the 9th month? Because there's no 13th direction, the 9th month just resets to position 1, which means that in the 9th month, Hagun dwells in the direction of the hour. So for example, in the ninth month at the hour of the rat, because the direction you start at is also the first position, that automatically means that the rat, so in the ninth month at the hour of the rat, Hagun is in the direction of the rat, true north. The hour of the rabbit, it's in the direction of the rabbit. So during the ninth lunar month, Hagun dwells in the direction of the hour. So this is the easy month. So basically in the ninth lunar month, Hagun is in the direction of whatever the hour is. That's the easy one. Now let's change it up a little bit. Let's pick a different starting direction, which means a different hour, and let's just pick a random month, fifth month. Okay, so during the fifth month at the hour of the dragon, where is Hagun? Well, we know since it's the fifth month, it's going to be 9 positions out. And since it's the hour of the dragon, we start at the direction of the dragon. And then when we count 9, we end up at the hour of the rat, which is true north. So in the fifth month, during the hour of the dragon, Hagun is in the direction of the rat, aka true north. Does this make sense? So once you learn the pattern and memorize the pattern, it's pretty straightforward. You take the number of the lunar month and you add 4. When you get to 9, and adding would give you 13, you just transition it, you reset it to 1. So first month is 5 positions, second month is 6 positions, third is 7, 4, 8, 5, 9, 6, 10, 7, 11, 8, 12, 9, 1, 10, 2, 11, 3, 12, 4. Once you have that pattern memorized, and eventually you'll just memorize which number goes to 1. Once you have it all memorized, then you'll have the hour, you'll have the month and the positioning. Just it'll be second nature. It is because it's a very straightforward pattern to learn. You must have the correct month and the natural hour. The month and the position is easy to learn and memorize. What throws people, where people make the mistake, is they fail to find the correct natural hour. Especially in modern times, they just look at their watch and they don't remember that a watch is self-contained time, but that the movement of nature is natural time, not self-contained time. The movement of nature is interdependent. It responds to natural forces, natural time. It's not self-contained. It's not the idea of time, but it is the actual interrelation of things. In other words, don't rely on your watch. You have to rely on the sun and the light and the seasons and these things like that. Again, the preceding video discussed natural time versus self-contained idealistic time. So once you have the correct month and the correct natural time hour, then these calculations are very straightforward. Once you know which direction Hagun is in, like I said, you want to avoid fighting towards that direction. So if Hagun is in the north, you don't want to face towards the north. Ideally, you'd want to make your enemy fight toward the north. So if Hagun is in the north, you should attack facing south and cause the enemy to fight you facing north. That would be ideal. Now remember, the direction will shift as the hours pass. So as time passes, so does the direction shift. So you'll need to pay attention to this shift and even consider having your army shift or your troop shift or whatever force you have shift as the hours pass. Right? Especially if Hagun's direction is approaching the direction you're facing based on time. So you're facing this direction and Hagun is not in that direction yet, but enough time passes, it will be in that direction. So if it's getting close, if enough time has passed and it's getting close, you would need to reposition because you don't want to suddenly find yourself fighting in the direction of Hagun. So, and I talked about this some in the book, you can find some samurai manuals that have these kind of charts already laid out. And that's a good idea on, at first, but you have to double check these for errors. There's actually two main problems with relying on these charts. The first one is potential errors in the chart. For example, this is a snippet from a very famous samurai manual from the late 1600s. But if you look where I have the arrows, there's a typo. They have the hour of the snake listed twice. Now, once you realize this typo is there, this is easy to compensate for. However, if you didn't realize that it's a typo, you might accidentally look at the wrong line, right? Furthermore, it raises the issue of not blindly relying on pre-printed charts, because even though this particular issue on this page is simple, what if it was a more complicated issue? What if it wasn't just something that could easily compensated for, but within the actual directional results, there's just wrong? So therefore, it's nice that these pre-laid charts exist, but you should not rely on them. You should learn the technique yourself. Also, the second reason not to rely on the pre-laid out charts is you yourself fail to master the technique. You fail to learn it, you fail to practice it, you fail to master it. You never learn how to do it yourself, and you always rely on other people. Do you really want to be the kind of person who spends their whole life just always relying on what other people tell you? No, I don't think so, right? Of course not. You want to learn the art, and you want to make the calculations for yourself. As such, of course you can use pre-laid out charts when studying and when learning the method, to help you check answers, etc., etc. Compare your answers to what the chart says. Again, the chart may have a mistake, so it's not 100% that you can trust it. But in general, it's a decent study aid. But really, you should learn how to do these equations on your own. That means in the field, on your own. If you get and then if you get really good, you won't even need the wharf fan or the directional chart. That you can actually memorize that too. So if you get real good at this, you can do it all in your head.